It all started when I set my sights on Indonesia. I had heard stories about the archipelago's diverse culture, vibrant cities, and stunning natural beauty. Having explored several iconic destinations before, I felt Indonesia was the perfect blend of adventure and serenity. So, with a heart full of excitement and a suitcase packed with essentials, I boarded my flight, ready to dive into the wonders of a new land. Landing in Jakarta was an experience in itself. The sheer scale of the city was overwhelming. Bustling streets, towering skyscrapers, and a constant hum of activity welcomed me. I spent the first few days immersing myself in the capital's culture. The contrast between modernity and tradition was striking. One moment, I was strolling through ultramodern shopping malls, and the next, I found myself wandering around the ancient Istiqlal Mosque, the largest mosque in Southeast Asia. As I delved deeper into Jakarta, I encountered Monas, the national monument, standing tall and proud. Its golden flame symbolized Indonesia's fight for independence, and I couldn't help but admire the rich history that pulsed through the veins of the sprawling metropolis. The museums in Jakarta offered glimpses into the country's colonial past, adding layers to my understanding of its present. From Jakarta, I decided to head to Yogyakarta, the cultural heart of Java. The moment I arrived, I felt the city's pulse. Yogyakarta had a certain charm. Its streets were filled with art, music, and tradition. I spent hours exploring the vibrant Malioboro street, tasting street food and bargaining with vendors for batik and handicrafts. Each corner seemed to tell its own story, and I couldn't get enough of the local life. One of my main reasons for visiting Yogyakarta was to witness the grandeur of Borobudur Temple. As I stood before this majestic Buddhist temple, I was overwhelmed by its sheer size and intricate carvings. The sunrise here was unlike anything I had ever seen. The soft light kissed the ancient stone reliefs, and the mist surrounding the temple gave the entire place a mystical aura. It felt as if time had stopped, and I was standing in a different era. Not far from Borobudur, Prambanan Temple stood in sharp contrast. This Hindu temple complex was no less impressive, with its towering spires dedicated to different gods. The symmetry and artistry of the temple left me in awe. I spent hours wandering its grounds, soaking in the spiritual energy that seemed to flow from every stone. From the cultural heartland, I headed to the beaches of Bali. Bali had been a dream destination for me for as long as I could remember, and now I was finally here. The island was every bit as enchanting as I had imagined. My first stop was Ubud, nestled amidst lush rice paddies and jungles. The spiritual vibe of Ubud was palpable. From yoga retreats to art galleries, there was a sense of calm that permeated the air. One morning, I found myself trekking through the famous Tagalalang rice terraces. The view was breathtaking, with endless tiers of green stretching into the horizon. It was a peaceful walk, punctuated by the occasional chatter of local farmers going about their day. As the sun began to set, the golden light illuminated the terraces, creating a surreal landscape I will never forget. After a few tranquil days in Ubud, I made my way to Bali's coastline. Seminyak was my base for the next leg of my journey, and it was as vibrant and lively as I had hoped. The beaches were stunning, with soft sand and crystal-clear waters. I spent hours lounging on the shore, sipping coconut water and soaking up the sun. The nightlife in Seminyak was another level of excitement. I hopped between beach bars, dancing under the stars to the beat of local music. But the real highlight of Bali was my trip to the Gili Islands. I had heard whispers about the untouched beauty of these islands, and they didn't disappoint. As soon as I stepped off the boat onto Gili Trawangan, I was in paradise. The island had no cars, only bicycles and horse-drawn carriages, giving it a laid-back, almost timeless feel. The waters surrounding the islands were the clearest I had ever seen, perfect for snorkeling. My first snorkeling trip was magical. The vibrant coral reefs were teeming with marine life. I swam alongside sea turtles, watched schools of colorful fish dart through the water, and even spotted a manta ray gliding gracefully by. It was like being in an underwater dream, and I couldn't help but marvel at the beauty of Indonesia's marine biodiversity. After my time in the Gilis, I decided to head to Mount Bromo in East Java for a completely different experience. The active volcano is a must-see for anyone visiting Indonesia, and I was eager to witness its majesty. The journey up was rugged, but as I reached the summit, I knew it was worth it. Standing on the edge of the crater, with smoke billowing from the volcano and the surrounding landscape bathed in the golden light of dawn, I felt a sense of awe that words could never fully capture. From the heights of Bromo, I ventured into the jungles of Sumatra. My goal was to see the critically endangered orangutans in their natural habitat. Bukit Long was the place to be for this unique encounter. Trekking through the dense jungle, I could hear the rustle of leaves and the distant calls of birds. Then, suddenly, I saw them, orangutans swinging gracefully from tree to tree. It was a humbling experience to witness these intelligent creatures up close, knowing how vulnerable they are. As my time in Indonesia was nearing its end, I reflected on the sheer diversity of the experiences I had encountered. From the bustling streets of Jakarta to the serene rice terraces of Ubud, from the underwater wonders of the Gili Islands to the spiritual serenity of Borobudur, every corner of Indonesia had something unique to offer. Each place I visited told its own story, adding to the rich tapestry of memories I would take home with me. Indonesia had a way of surprising me at every turn. Whether it was the people, the landscapes, or the food, there was always something new to discover. Speaking of food, Indonesian cuisine had truly captured my heart. From the spicy rendang to the flavorful nasi goreng, every meal was a delight for my taste buds. I often found myself lingering in local warungs, savoring every bite and chatting with the friendly locals. One of the last places I visited before leaving was Raja Ampat, a remote archipelago in West Papua. Known for its stunning marine biodiversity, Raja Ampat felt like the edge of the world. The islands were untouched, with pristine beaches and waters so clear they looked like glass. My final dive there was unforgettable. The coral reefs were alive with color, and I swam with an array of sea creatures, from tiny nudibranch to massive whale sharks. As I boarded my flight back home, I couldn't help but feel a sense of longing. Indonesia had captured my heart in a way no other destination had. It was a place of contrasts, where tradition met modernity, where nature's raw beauty was on full display, and where every day brought new surprises. I knew that this was not a goodbye, it was simply a see you later. Indonesia had left an indelible mark on my soul, and I was certain that one day I would return.